In this episode, we look at how security teams learn what threats are active, what weaknesses attackers are targeting, and which alerts deserve attention first. Threat feeds and intelligence sources help turn scattered security information into something more useful. Without that context, every alert can feel equally urgent, and every vulnerability can feel like a crisis. That is not how real security work can function for long. You need a way to decide what matters now, what can wait, and what needs a closer look because it connects to your organization's systems, users, data, or business operations. Threat intelligence is the broader idea behind this. It means information about threats that has been collected, organized, analyzed, and used to support decisions. The goal is not to know every scary thing happening on the internet. The goal is to understand which threats are relevant enough to shape action. Before we continue, a quick note. This audio course is part of our companion study series. The first book is a detailed study guide that explains the exam and helps you prepare for it with confidence. The second is a Kindle-only ebook with 1,000 flashcards you can use on your mobile device or Kindle for quick review. You can find both at Cyber.Me in the Bare Metal Study Guide series. A threat feed is a stream of security information that updates over time. It may contain suspicious internet addresses, malicious domain names, file hashes, known attacker infrastructure, phishing indicators, malware details, or information about newly discovered vulnerabilities. Think of it as a constantly refreshed list of clues that security tools and analysts can use. A feed by itself is not the same as finished intelligence. It may contain useful signals, but it may also contain noise, outdated entries, duplicates, and items that do not apply to the environment you are protecting. This is why security teams do not simply treat every feed entry as a guaranteed problem. They compare feed data against their own systems, alerts, logs, and business priorities. A good feed can help you detect or block known bad activity faster. A poor or poorly tuned feed can create more alerts than the team can reasonably handle. An intelligence source is any place where useful threat information comes from. Threat feeds are one type of source, but they are not the only one. Security teams may use government advisories, vendor reports, industry sharing groups, research blogs, incident reports, malware analysis, vulnerability announcements, dark web monitoring, and internal security data. Some sources are formal and structured. Others are written as reports that need human reading and judgment. Some sources focus on technical indicators, such as an internet address tied to malware delivery. Others focus on attacker behavior, such as common ways a criminal group gains initial access. You will also hear about strategic, operational, tactical, and technical intelligence. Those labels describe different levels of detail. At a beginner level, what matters most is knowing that intelligence can support both big-picture planning and immediate security action. Advisories are official or formal notices that warn about a security issue, active campaign, or vulnerability. An advisory may explain what is affected, how serious the issue appears to be, whether attackers are already exploiting it, and what organizations should consider doing. Advisories are helpful because they often bring attention to a risk that may not yet be visible inside the organization's own tools. For example, a company might not know that a device it uses has a newly reported weakness until an advisory explains the problem. Even then, the team still has to connect the advisory to local reality. Do they own the affected product? Is it exposed to the internet? Is it used in a critical business process? Is there a temporary workaround? The advisory provides warning and context, but the organization still has to decide what the information means for its own environment. Vendor reports are another major source of intelligence because vendors often see attack patterns across many customers, products, and environments. A vendor that provides endpoint protection may notice a new malware trend. A cloud provider may see identity attacks targeting misconfigured accounts. An email security provider may track phishing campaigns across many organizations. Vendor reports can help you understand what attackers are doing at scale. They may describe common techniques, targeted industries, malware families, or observed attack paths. At the same time, you should remember that vendor reports can reflect the vendor's visibility. A company that sells one kind of tool may see the world through that tool's data. That does not make the report useless. It means you should read it as one source among several. Strong security decisions usually come from combining information rather than trusting one stream completely. Information sharing groups help organizations learn from each other without every team having to discover every threat alone. Some groups are built around industries, such as finance, energy, healthcare, education, or government. Others are regional, professional, or community-based. One common type is an Information Sharing and Analysis Center, ISAC, which helps members exchange cyber threat information relevant to a specific sector. These groups can be valuable because attackers often repeat techniques across similar organizations. If one hospital, bank, school, or manufacturer sees a campaign, others in that same sector may be at risk soon. Sharing can include indicators, attack descriptions, defensive recommendations, lessons learned, and warnings about active scams. Good sharing depends on trust. Organizations need ways to share useful information while protecting sensitive details about their own systems, incidents, customers, and investigations. Internal telemetry is the security information produced inside the organization's own environment. This can include logs from firewalls, identity systems, endpoints, cloud platforms, email systems, servers, applications, and network devices. Telemetry is powerful because it tells you what is happening in your own house, not just what might be happening somewhere else. A global report may say attackers are abusing stolen passwords, but your internal telemetry can show whether unusual sign-ins are happening against your accounts. A feed may list a malicious domain, but your domain name system logs can show whether any of your machines tried to reach it. External intelligence gives context, and internal telemetry gives local evidence. When you combine the two, you can move from general awareness to focused investigation. That combination is one of the main reasons threat intelligence matters in daily security operations. Security teams use intelligence to prioritize because modern environments create more security signals than people can manually investigate one by one. A single organization may have thousands of devices, many cloud services, many users, and constant network activity. Security tools may generate alerts for suspicious sign-ins, unusual processes, blocked websites, malware detections, policy violations, and vulnerability findings. If every alert receives the same attention, the team becomes overwhelmed. Intelligence helps sort the pile. An alert involving an internet address tied to an active ransomware campaign may deserve faster attention than a low-confidence alert with no supporting context. A vulnerability being actively exploited in the wild may move ahead of a technically severe vulnerability on an isolated system. Prioritization is not about ignoring risk. It is about using the best available context to decide what should be handled first. One useful way to think about intelligence is relevance. Not every threat matters equally to every organization. A school district, a hospital, a defense contractor, a small online store, and a software company may face overlapping threats, but their most important risks are not identical. The systems they use are different. Their data is different. Their public exposure is different. The attackers interested in them may also be different. If your organization does not use a particular product, a major vulnerability in that product may not require emergency work. If your organization does use it in a critical internet-facing role, the same advisory may become urgent. This is why security teams ask filtering questions. Does this apply to us? Are we exposed? Are attackers using it now? What assets are affected? What would happen if this turned into an incident? Another important idea is confidence. Security intelligence is not always equally reliable. Some information comes from confirmed investigations, direct evidence, or trusted reporting. Other information may be early, incomplete, or based on limited sightings. A threat feed might list an address that was malicious yesterday, but has since been reused for normal activity. A report might describe attacker behavior that is common in one region, but less relevant elsewhere. An internal alert might be triggered by normal administrator activity that only looks suspicious at first glance. Confidence helps you avoid overreacting and underreacting. You do not want to dismiss a serious warning because it is inconvenient, but you also do not want to shut down business operations because of a weak signal. Security teams often look for supporting evidence from multiple sources before making major decisions. Timeliness also matters because threat information ages quickly. Some indicators are useful for a very short time. An attacker can change an internet address, register a new domain, modify malware, or shift tactics. Other intelligence stays useful longer, especially when it describes behavior rather than a single technical clue. For example, a specific malicious file hash may become stale once attackers change the file. But knowledge that a certain campaign often begins with stolen credentials, followed by remote access and data theft, can remain useful even as the exact tools change. This is why mature teams pay attention to both indicators and patterns. Fast-moving indicators can support detection and blocking. Longer-lasting patterns help teams improve monitoring, training, architecture, and response planning. Freshness is valuable, but durable understanding is valuable too. Threat intelligence can support many different security activities. In monitoring, it can help a team recognize suspicious behavior faster. In vulnerability management, it can help decide which patches or mitigations should happen first. In incident response, it can help analysts understand whether an event resembles a known campaign or attacker method. In security awareness, it can help warn users about phishing themes that are actually being seen. In risk management, it can help leaders understand why a certain investment matters. You do not need to picture threat intelligence as a mysterious expert-only function. At its core, it is a way to make security decisions less blind. You gather information, test it against your environment, decide what it means, and act in a way that reduces risk. The value comes from action, not from collecting more data for its own sake. There are also common mistakes to avoid. One mistake is chasing every indicator without asking whether it applies. Another is buying more feeds when the real problem is that the team cannot process the feeds it already has. More data does not automatically mean better security. Another mistake is treating intelligence as something separate from the rest of the security program. If threat information does not change monitoring, patching, access control, training, or response, it is not helping much. A team can also become too focused on technical details and miss the bigger picture. A list of suspicious addresses may help block activity today, but understanding why attackers are targeting a certain business process may help reduce risk more deeply. Useful intelligence should help you make better choices, not just create longer lists. As you continue through Security Plus version 8 and SY0801, you will see threat intelligence connect to many other topics. It connects to vulnerability management because you need to know which weaknesses attackers are actually using. It connects to detection because alerts become more meaningful when you can compare them with known threat behavior. It connects to incident response because context helps you understand what may have happened and what could happen next. It connects to governance because leaders need a realistic view of risk, not just technical noise. For now, keep the main idea simple. Threat feeds and intelligence sources help security teams understand the threat environment, but their real value comes from relevance, confidence, timeliness, and action. You are learning to separate signal from noise so security work can focus on what matters most.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit DailyCyber.News.